Bambi. I said, Bambi, what is that place? He said, oh, that's the gold place. That's where you go to handle transactions dealing in gold. Blew my mind.
Charlie, an African American is shocked to see how Ghanaians live their life compared to how Americans live their life in America. She is just surprised how they used to tell them that we are poor, we are this, we are that. But she coming here and seeing how we live our lives. We own our land. If we have a house, the house belongs to us. Like, there is nothing that belongs to them in America, kind of. So she's just surprised seeing how Ghanaians live their life, and she has a lot to share. I don't want to talk plenty. Let's go into the video. Watch, come back and talk.
I want to tell you something real quick. We have, as Americans, been led to believe that everything should be controlled by finance. Let me tell you something that's wrong. Because what happens is we either educate ourselves by going to school, get trained, something around those lines, so that we can provide a greater and better life for our families, right? Let me tell you that that's like a hamster wheel, because you end up going from one job to another chasing money. You forget about sometimes your health. You forget about your family sometimes. You even forget about yourself. You get on this never-ending spiral of I have to get more, I have to get more, I have to get more. The more takes you away from what then becomes the less. Here in Ghana, do you know the average person, and I'm talking about somebody that doesn't have a big house or even own a car, the average person here owns their own land and they have their own business. It could be selling shoes, cosmetics, earrings, textiles, you name it. There are people here who are not even able to get a driver's license, right? But they're so far ahead of us in so many other ways. You have to understand that the commonplace in most government is the finances of the country, you know, the economy, the stabilization of the economy in most governments is the money, right? These people, let me tell you, I asked my builder yesterday about the taxes on my house. You know what he said? We don't deal with that. That's not an issue. This is your house, not the government's. You know, that would never be the commonplace theory or practicum in the United States of America, because America is built on greed. You know what? Watch how, look at these tariffs. Okay, let me just say this. There's a 50% tariff on Indian imports and exports, right? On India, because they bought oil from Russia. Our president is playing checkers. He's not playing chess. He is doing tit for tat. He's affecting not only our economy, but the stabilization of the world economy when he does things like that, right? This man told me yesterday, we don't business with things like that. What you own, you own. Now, a lot of y'all know I just paid my house off in Atlanta, or I should say Ellenwood, and I still got to pay tax for the rest of my life. I still got to keep insurance forever and ever. Somehow that sounds like bondage to me. But to secure the generational wealth that I'm trying to create for my children, I'm going to do it. I'm going to comply. My earnest prayer is that if it is not my children who come to Ghana, it's their children. Generational wealth means generational. It doesn't stop with me. Sorry about that. I had to plug my phone in, but let me just kind of finish my commentary before I go out today. This has probably been the most productive trip I've had to Accra. I have done more in the last 3 days here than I probably have done in the last 90 days in Georgia. People here are simple and way more, I don't know, can't even think of the word. I would say they are, they're what you see, what you get. Let me put it to you like that. The majority of them. You have people that, you know, are not as genuine everywhere, right? All over the globe. But here, what I have found is that the average Ghanaian is very direct. They're very open. They're accommodating. They're good people. Despite what we have been taught and what we've been told and what has been illustrated to us in the States, I will tell you it's quite the contrary here. Some of you know that I would not be anywhere where I am treated poorly. And I have become accustomed to having to fight a lot. Not the case here. I did have a very interesting conversation when I arrived with someone who thought they could shake me down at the airport. It did not go well for them. You cannot shake a shaker. She learned. And I had some interesting conversations with the builder. Other than that, I've been received very well here. We have really been sold a story that truly is false. Now, I'm not selling you Ghana. I'm selling and offering humanity, because that's what's here. You may never come here because you don't want to. Or you may never come because you have other places and destinations on your bucket list. I'm going to implore to you that if you've never been here and you don't know enough about the place, just come. It's going to change your life. It certainly has changed my outlook on life and how I think about things. There is way more progression here. Even in the worst part of the city, they're more advanced than we are, than I've ever seen in the States. There's way more progression. But they're not going to tell you that on TV. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you everything to the contrary. It is very true, and I've said this every day this week, that if I did not have a few endeavors to attend to there in the States, I probably would be here until probably until, I don't know, Thanksgiving. I would leave, come back, and get ready for the spring semester. But I, of course, cannot leave what I have started there without finishing it correctly. And of course, my children are there. And I am still very much involved in the things that they're involved in. I have to be. But I love it here. I saw something yesterday that was intriguing. It's called the Gold House. So we have the White House. And it's white in every sense of the word. But here, it was called the Gold House. And I asked Bambi, I said, Bambi, what is that place? He said, oh, that's the gold place. That's where you go to handle transactions dealing in gold. Blew my mind. Blew my mind. I said, what? See, where we deal in gold in America is at the pawn shop. They deal in gold here because the gold is here in its most rarest and rawest form. The gold is here. I love it. I always will. It's just me today, bringing you a little bit more information than you had to work with when you woke up today. God bless you. I love you. You cannot tell me that coming to Ghana a year ago on my vacation would start a journey to home buying, but it did. Look what I bought. This has taken a long time, y'all. And it was more than the $44,000 I thought it was going to be in my first video, but not much more. I want to show you everything about it. It's very beautiful. And I also opted for not a 3-bedroom, but a 2-bedroom. Beautiful place. I'm excited. And God is great. Let's go inside. The living room. Look at my chandelier. This is 1 bedroom right off of the living room. Every room has its own bath. The builder is here now. This is the guest bathroom. This will probably be my bedroom because it's in the back and it's bigger. But let me tell you, this me no like. I'm going to get this out. I don't like the tile, but I like everything else.
Yeah.
Kitchen.
So just see. Everything for me.
See, Africa, Ghana is not for everybody. Ghana is not for all African Americans. Those that are still in that mindset of what they were being told in America, that Africa is this, Africa is that, Africa is this, Africa is that. And they don't want to wake up from that mindset to explore the world by themselves, but rather just focusing on what they were told. For me, honestly, I don't blame them. But I feel if you are matured in 2025, you have a phone, you have access to the internet, you can make your research. You understand? If you are not able to do that and you are still living in that mindset, that education that was given to you through the television and all that, and you still think Africa is what you were told, then Charlie, I don't know what to say to you, but I really like the way this woman has learnt and studied the system in Ghana to really understand how we live our lives here. The kind of freedom that we have here, so many people around the world, especially in America, don't even have that. This is something that many Americans don't know, and they tend to say that Africa is this, Africa is that, especially these FBA people that are springing up in America right now. But that's a topic for another day. So Charlie, if you want to come to Africa, if you want to come to Ghana, you can come. Our doors are open for everybody. Yeah, thank you so much for watching.